So the protagonist, Prot, as it happens in K-Pax, he has all these observations for the Earthlings that are essentially social critiques masquerading as K-Paxian anthropology, right? Because what he describes about his home planet is essentially this utopian vision that so many fiction writers on Earth have like worked really hard to synthesize. And Prot has all of these utopian suggestions, right? Like eliminate war, eliminate hierarchy, consumption, take collective effort in child rearing, no monogamy, no nuclear family, no sex, or reproductive only sex. So instead of like unconscious child rearing the way we do here on Earth, that just like happens to us as a byproduct of our biological mechanisms, on K-Pax, sex is something you plug your nose and just look the other way and you tolerate it for the purposes of intentionally minting a K-Paxian like a shiny new penny, right? Like, because K-Pax is asexual, it's vegan, it's non-hierarchical, there's no competition, there are no laws, cops, prisons, because people are inwardly ordered, so they require no external coercion or suggestion, right? And there's no need for money on K-Pax. I really liked that part because it's just kind of this sprawling planetary agrarian commune, so needs are already met. There's no need for money because money is for hoarding. It's for superfluous items like yachts and cars and private jets and things like that. And if we all had our own horses like the pre-industrial era and all had our own victory gardens like World War II and prior to that, then we wouldn't even need cars and grocery stores and all of this superfluous stuff. We wouldn't need money. Only a century or two ago, 1% of the American population were not farmers. And now here we are, 1% of us are farmers. And that's the mark of something I think Prot from K-Pax would call the mark of like an early evolution, because he called Earthlings young. He says that as our consciousness matures, things like tribalism and biological impulses and scarcity and fear, all of that stuff will start to fall away, and there will be satisfaction. So there will be no need for addiction, alcohol, cigarettes, all the drugs and things like that. Sex will just be a tool for reproduction. We won't need policemen. We won't need prisons. And the intuition seems to be that as we move away from competition and shame loops and status chasing and keeping up with the Joneses, we'll move more towards stewardship and deep relationships that are friend-based instead of like these cheapening relationships, these jealous, possessive, commodifying relationships like romantic sexual relationships. And these are just choices that we will make. It doesn't seem that anybody's going to force us to like stop recreationally reproducing, for example. We'll just kind of evolve past that sort of unconscious enslavement to our own biological processes, and we'll evolve past money and selfish hoarding and move more toward giving away our surpluses like Jesus did and like Buddha did. And I love what Prot said in K-Pax about all those K-Paxians who had visited Earth. And the suggestion was that our apparently earthly luminaries like Jesus and Buddha were actually K-Paxian, right? And he even said, like, nobody understood your Jesus and your Buddha, least of all the Christians and the Buddhists. And I think maybe in some crazy K-Paxian catch-22, fully embodied Buddhism means giving away all the isms, right? Including Buddhism. So definitely the more toxic isms like racism, sexism, ableism, classism, all of that stuff. It seems like as humanity grows up, law disappears because conscience replaces it, and economy disappears because generosity replaces it, and religion disappears because superstition falls away, and family dissolves because universal compassion means we're all family, right?